What do I want to be true about me as I move forward into the new phase? What relationships do I want to have in my life? Hi, my name is Lauren and I live in Birmingham. I don't know about you, but during the pandemic, I became even more plant obsessed. Buying houseplants, taking care of houseplants, it was something to do. But today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite parallels between plants, and that is the process of transitioning. All of us go through many different transitions in life, and perhaps you're going through one right now. Transitions affect us in three different ways. The first is our context. This is just our position in the world. The second is our relationships and how we relate to others. And thirdly are our emotions and how we feel in each stage. When we transition, whether that's a move or a new job or a new life experience, we often experience 5 different stages. And those stages are involvement, leaving, transitioning, entering, and re-engaging. And the parallel I see between a transition and repotting a plant are really similar. So the first, when we have a plant, we can make a lot of observations about how comfortable it looks. In the involvement stage, the plant has deep roots. It has most often filled out its pot, and it's very used to its climate, sunlight, watering, if you remember, all those things. However, in the leaving phase, this little plant needs to leave its pot. So we can pull it out. Here we go. In this stage, the roots get pulled up. And if you're transitioning right now, perhaps starting university or another life transition, I wonder if you've experienced this as well. Pulled up roots. Sometimes it's painful or uncomfortable, exciting. You might feel exposed. All the different emotions and feelings can be there. Okay, so we were involved in the pot, and then we left, and then when we're in transition, it can be super chaotic. Our roots are loose, dirt might be falling everywhere, we might feel more emotional than normal, we might have questions about who we are outside of the pot, and these are all just a really normal experience, not our typical surrounding of other plant friends. When we enter a new environment, in this case a new pot, we might feel marginal, or we have a new identity. We don't recognize our surroundings. Everything can feel really temporary, including our relationships, and it can be a really upsetting time. It can also be very exciting to be in a new environment and kind of get to reinvent yourself. And lastly, we have re-engagement. This is when our roots get comfortable and we get used to being in our new home. I love that example of a plant and repotting and transition, and it's helped me in over 3 different countries and, 8 or 9 cities I've lived in to think about what does it look like to transition. And here are a couple of thoughts. First, the goal of transitioning is not to move through all those 5 stages as quickly as possible. It usually doesn't help anyway. As we switch and transition our context and our relationships and our emotions, we go through it in the season and pace that we do. So give yourself a lot of time and a lot of grace. Second is it's not linear. You might think, okay, 2 weeks for each stage and I'll be there? I've often found that sometimes I make a quick transition and then kind of regress a little bit as life gets harder and it moves and takes more time than I expect to really be in that re-engagement phase. Lastly, you might be physically tired. If you're in the middle of a transition, perhaps to university, make sure you're taking care of your physical needs. And I think there's another video on our channel that talks about that. I just wanted to leave you with one last question. What will your soil be? That's a question I ask myself. As I'm in a transition, it's an opportunity to reinvent myself. And what do I want to be true about me as I move forward into the new phase? What relationships do I want to have in my life? What practices would help make me most healthy physically, emotionally, and spiritually? So I hope that this little example of repotting a plant and transition helps you know that your experience in transition is normal and gives you just a couple more words to describe your experience.